Welcome, everybody, to another Good Nerd Corner's Horror Corner. Hello, everyone. My name is JPOOL, and once again, I am joined by my co-host, LC.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey there, LC. How was your week so far?
It was busy. I was all around the Southern California coast area and trying to get everything done. But so far, so good. Weekend's here. Ready to go see another horror movie tonight at the theaters that I have not seen a single trailer for. So, I love to not have any spoilers whatsoever. So we'll see how this movie goes tonight.
Fantastic. Uh, do you have any favorite games you like to play?
Just in general,
Just in general, like even when you're on vacation, any like board games that you
yes.
play with the family?
Yes, I'm a big Uno player. Uno's a classic in our house. We actually just went away as a family recently, and we did Cards Against Humanity Family Edition. Um, we don't traditionally play hide and seek or tag or any of those games, any of those old school hits, but maybe we ought to bring them back. How about you?
When I'm out, I like to challenge people to chess.
Yes, that's a
Yeah,
hard game.
it's a fun game, especially when you can outsmart somebody. Most of my
I
friends,
can never.
I can beat, but there are a handful of friends that are very difficult. They're like MIT worthy, intelligence. So
Okay, well,
they're
come
they're
on.
they're pretty difficult to like get to even close to checkmate. So. But I fancy myself, as a casual chess player, but still able to beat probably like 70% of my friends.
I would encourage you to bring a board when we see each other because I am the person that can't remember which pieces go how many spaces and in what direction. So no MIT level intelligence here. You're at no risk of losing.
So the movie we're going to be talking about has to do with games and a family that deals in games because that is their legacy. But they also have a legacy of blood and sacrifice. This movie is called Ready or Not, and currently there is a sequel out for it as we speak, which you've already
Go
seen.
see it.
Yeah, which you've already
It is
seen.
so good. Yes. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this, I think, recently, but it's hard to have a good sequel. A lot of times it's just a kind of a chintzy rinse and repeat of the original, and this one did very well, I think. You knew what you were coming for, you certainly got it, but it 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 played it well. It brought in some new characters, which I think was exciting. Some individuals that those of us that are fans of the horror genre know and love, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Oh yeah, and this movie stars Samara Weaving. She is becoming the scream queen of this
Love her.
generation. Yes. Let's see. When did I first? I think I saw her probably the first time in probably The Babysitter.
Same,
Yeah, I think that was the first
same.
time I saw her personally. Like she was in things before that, but I recognized her from everything else from The Babysitter, and then of course
Yeah,
she's in the
which is
sequel as well.
the Babysitter is such a terrific movie as well. That is a fun watch. I can't remember seeing her in anything prior to that, but that was a role that really stuck. She played that well, and you said Scream Queen. She has the best scream, in my opinion. It is a warrior level scream, and it's not the running through the woods, being chased, falling, I'm about to get murdered. It's a I'm gonna take you down scream, and bless. It's chef's kiss. So I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah. Oh wait a minute. I think I did see her. She was in Ash versus Evil Dead. Her character, yeah, she did create this like blood curdling scream in that show as well, and it is hard to do for a lot of actresses to create that type of scream to make it sound like that you're really frightened and scared, like to almost to death. Um, and it's hard to do even in an audition. I wonder what she's like in
Yeah,
an
for
audition,
sure.
just like I want you to scream. Okay, you're good. You're good. That's actually, you know, that just echoed throughout the room.
I think you would definitely have to have some prompting, right? You would what set the scenario, put a, any archaic weapon in her hand and then let her scream and she's going to knock it out of the park. I watched Ash versus the Evil Dead. I cannot place her. I'm going to have to go back and watch that again. Do you happen to remember what character she was? I was kind of peeking around to see if I could find out.
She played Heather.
Okay. She worked with him?
Uh,
I'll go and check
you'll
it out.
yeah, yeah. So her character is Grace. She plays this
Hmm.
person that's about to get married. But let's start at the beginning because before we get to Grace, we start off with these two kids that are running through this huge mansion, and one of the kids ends up, putting the other kid in a, sort of a, what is it? Um, what do they call that? It's not a dresser.
Like a armoire.
Yeah, basically. Um,
Hmm.
I think it like holds coats or something like that,
Hmm.
and just
Yeah.
hiding him there. We don't know why. And this guy out of nowhere shows up, and he's been injured. He's been shot, and he's running for his life, and asking for help, and basically the kid rats him out
Yeah. Hmm.
and says he's here, and this guy is like shot with a spear gun, and a
Yeah.
bunch of
It's
people
not the way to go.
yeah, a bunch of people show up down, both sides of the corridor and drag him into this room, and the door shuts and they lock the door, and that is the beginning of the film. We have no idea exactly what's going on. All we know is that something extremely nefarious is happening, and it involves killing people
And rich people.
and rich people. Well, not even rich people. So we don't even know this guy that they're getting is rich. We just know these people around them. They're rich.
Yeah. It's a nice house they're in for sure.
Oh yes, definitely. And so the next scene we go to is like 30 years later, and this kid is grown up, and he's getting married. He's getting married to Grace,
Yeah.
and played by Samara Weaving, and she's in this beautiful, white gown and everything. Uh, she is, she's excited to get married, but she's also worried she's going to look bad for, her new in-laws because they don't seem to really take to her very well.
Right. You
Yeah.
can tell she's a bit more casual, the relationship that she has with her fiance. So yeah, so you can absolutely tell that Grace she's a fun personality. You can tell that she is coming from a different background. Uh, Alex's family, her fiance, they're not fans of Grace. Uh, she keeps getting the side eye from some of the family members, especially the older aunt. She definitely doesn't take a liking to Grace, but they have a fun relationship. You can tell that they seem to be truly in love, the two of them. So she's trying to do her best to uh, integrate into this very different reality. And we learn that Grace, she's a foster kid. This is a big change for her. She's making it very clear this is for love. She's not a gold digger. She really loves this guy.
Yeah, and, even though that some of the family, thinks that she might be, considering that she's married into they don't say exactly, I don't think, how rich the family is, but they own like a
Yeah.
gaming empire. So I would think it would be
Hmm.
in the hundreds of millions, maybe close to in the billions. But um, it goes back pretty far. Their legacy goes back, probably let's say maybe over 100 years or something like that. So it's been
Yeah.
around for a while. They've made a lot
The
of money.
Ladomas family.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I like watching the actress. Was it Nikki Godini? I can't say her last name, but played Anne Helene. Like she has a death stare the whole
She's
time
so
throughout this
good.
whole film. Like it doesn't
Mm.
matter if she's like sitting down waiting for the photo shoot to be done at the wedding, to um, even during the vows, she's just staring at her the whole time with like
Very
daggers in
pursed
her
lips.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't even make the face. It's very looks like you bit into the most sour lemon and you're not happy about it. I would love to see some outtakes because that had to have been a tough character to pull off throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, definitely. And for Grace to also be a former foster child, it really shows that she really does want a stable family. And of course, we find out in the sequel that she does have somebody in her life that she's not really connected to for very much, um, which is kind of interesting because in here it just sounds like she's a complete loner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they really bring that forward in the sequel. We get to meet her sister, which is, another fantastic scream queen. But it sets it up nice enough that it doesn't feel forced. You don't get enough of her background in this particular movie that it makes it feel like you're getting a sequel shoved down your throat and they're going to make it work no matter what. It plays out pretty well for sure.
Yeah, and for a movie that was, let's see, released in 2019, this is
Hmm.
like what, 7 years later. Samara Weaving does not look like she's aged a day.
No, and that 2019, there is a time warp that happened in 2020 because 2019 does not feel like it was 7 years ago, but I guess it does. I mean, she still looks like the babysitter.
Yeah, she's has an incredible genes to still look,
She does.
to still like, unlike, there's another sequel movie that's actually supposed to be a prequel. Was it the Orphan? Um,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
you're supposed to believe that the sequel, technically prequel, is her younger, and you're like, I have to use my imagination because I know the actress is older and she
Right.
looks older,
Hmm.
but she's supposed to be younger, and this is the before the original movie. You could have
But the
used a little bit of
orphan is
you could have used a bit of CGI maybe in that area.
But that movie is such a trip anyway when it comes to age that maybe they just felt like, whatever.
But in this case, like I said, this was a 2019 movie, and this was it 2 or 3 years after the babysitter. So she was just coming into her own as a scream queen. Everybody really enjoyed her in the babysitter, and um, here we have she plays a character that's kind of like she's oblivious to what's going on at the beginning of the here. It's the family has a tradition apparently with every new in-law that comes into the family. They before midnight they play a game,
Yeah.
and this game could be anything because they have a set of cards in this very kind of like
It's
unworldly
cool.
demonic box. Yes.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
doesn't look like it's carved by humans. It looks like something that, was taken from the bowels of hell and, given to us.
Naturally.
Yeah, it's that kind of like, anyway. So the family apparently made a sort of a Faustian deal, the great grandfather. And what was it with his character? What was it, LaBelle? Yeah, I think it was LaBelle.
Mr. LaBelle.
Mr.
Hmm.
LaBelle, yes. Which they never exactly explain who he is, but his picture on the wall, kind of drawn in a cartoonish form, has devil horns. So kind of give a an idea of who he is. You're like,
Yeah.
who could this be? Who are they selling their souls to?
They go a lot harder with it in the sequel.
Yes.
you know, you know, hands down exactly who he is in the sequel. But I love the lore behind it. I think that this movie did a great job with that. Well, okay, now we know how they got their money. So, and of course, poor Grace, she just wants to fit in. It seems a little weird that on your wedding night you're going to sit around a table and play a board game or some sort of a silly, card game with your brand new in-laws, but again, she's been getting the death stare all day from, Miss Lemon Purse Lips, and she just wants to make this work as much as humanly possible. So she's gonna give in. She's gonna play the game from the crazy hell box.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too because like it doesn't always end in like something crazy happening. It's just it depends on the game. Like
Yeah.
one of the characters in there, I think what was it, one of the brother-in-laws, was it sons or brother-in-laws? Anyway, was basically saying I got old maid. He's like, what the hell is old maid? And it's like
Right.
I remember old maid, but I played a
Hmm.
lot of board games in my life. But it was just funny how they were just naming off games, and none of them had to do with anything of like sacrifice or sacrificial stuff.
Right.
But it does come around every once in a while, and in this case, Grace draws the hide and seek card, which sounds very
Yeah.
childish because I don't know if you ever played hide and seek. I
Oh
lived on
yeah.
I had a 2 acre property that had huge bushes that you could like tunnel through in the back. I had tree houses over like 3 different trees, eucalyptus trees. I had a huge backyard full of orange groves. There were so many places you could hide on this property. It was insane. Um, and I loved hide and go seek.
That's
The
a great game.
Yeah, I would try to do something with hide and go seek that most people wouldn't do. I would try to scare people half to death because we would do it in the dark. It's no fun doing it in the day because you can clearly see people like moving during the day. Um,
That has a different name. There's like something like my friends used to play that growing up, and it's probably not corpse in the graveyard, but something of that nature where it was I feel like the hider was the, I don't know, individual that basically ran the game instead of the seeker,
yeah,
which is kind of the case of this particular movie because you in the hide and go seek that I grew up with, everybody hid and there was one seeker, but poor Grace, she's the lone hider in a way worse game than anything we ever played.
yes. Unlike it would be like one person seeking and the rest hiding. It's like a solo seeker and everybody's going after her. For me, when I used to do sometimes when I do hide and seek, what we do is we would carve out little like bows and arrows, so we would get sticks and we would get like duck feathers and stuff, and sometimes when we would go after each other, we would fire them at each other. Very dangerous
For
game.
real?
Yeah, it's a very I was really stupid when I was younger.
This movie was meant for you.
None of us died,
I would
luckily.
hide.
None of us died, luckily.
I would hide, and people would give up. I think I would just be hiding an hour later, and eventually I would come out of my spot and find everybody had moved on to video games.
Yes, I would hope that the card had like video games in here, but like the cards are all like old fashioned games, old fashioned
Hmm.
stuff. So it'd probably never have something like play Nintendo. Um,
Right.
so she pulls a hide and go seek, and basically she's given the rules of what was it was it late Domas's family? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, Le Damas.
yeah, late Domas. Um, and she believes that at the beginning that it's just a very innocent game. Oh no!
Hmm.
Oh no! It's not an
Yeah,
innocent game.
yeah. You see her kind of realize as in real time with her, it she I think she, at first she goes and she's kind of playful with it. There's definitely a moment where it's, is this for real? Are we really playing? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Let's go play hide and seek. And she goes and hides and learns very quickly that this is not a game. This is, well, it is a game,
It is a
but
game.
not the type of game she thought.
Well, and she sees Emily like kill a maid who she apparently mistaken for Grace.
The maids.
Yes, poor maids, man.
The maids in this
just
movie get wallet.
just all the workers should just go home, okay? If it's
Mhm.
they know what's happening, all right? They've seen this happen probably multiple times, or at least they were told something. They just need to go home, or just to, go to their servants' quarters or whatever if they have any, because this is a very dangerous game just to be around.
Yeah.
The family goes absolutely, murder crazy when it comes to these games, and especially with hide and go seek. This is the game where they have to make a sacrificial, kill, and
Yeah.
because Grace
It's
pulled that card, it's her turn.
it's so funny. We talk a lot about comedy horror movies, but the slapstick moments that happen with this, that first maid kill, it's the sister and she accidentally shoots her in the face. And that doesn't sound funny, but it's done very funny. Even the weapons that the family has to choose, they all have to pick one of these weapons that's laid out for them. And you see, throughout the movie, some of the individuals, the brothers, really struggling. The brother-in-law, he's really struggling with his weapon of choice, having to watch YouTube videos to try and figure out how to use it. Crossbow. The movie has a ton of laughs around it. So you're enjoying this flick with a little bit of the rush that's coming with the game that's actually happening in real time, and the discovery that this is a bit more nefarious than just a simple, wedding night tradition. But along the way, you're definitely getting a lot of laughs, which is nice.
Yeah, and this is not completely, like, um, what was a jump scare type of, film. It's not like it's horror, scary, scary, scary.
Mm-mm.
There's some like comedic levity that they have in this film, which is fun because in this situation, I think you would kind of be like, this is kind of crazy. It's a family going after one single person, and a person that's still in their, wedding gown, wearing tennis shoes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I do like how Alex. So Alex is the son, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the the husband now of Grace, and at the beginning of the film, he keeps trying to give her an out. Like
Yeah.
he's not exactly explaining what's happening, even at the ceremony. He's trying to tell her, in his own little way, um, you can leave right now. We can just
Mm-hmm.
go. We can leave, and and this will be over. And I'm giving you an out because he knows what's about to happen. And
Yeah.
he didn't know that she was going to draw the card, but there was a huge possibility that she could draw the
Mm-hmm.
card, and he didn't want to have to be in that situation where now the person that he loves, he has to now kill.
Right. And he comes back to her throughout the movie, and he's after she realizes what's going on, he's still trying, which is nice. It leads you to believe that at the very least this wasn't all part of the plan from the get-go, that truly they had this relationship, and he really wants her to survive. I think he, right from the get-go, when she realizes that, wow, a maid just got shot in the face, I better actually run. he keeps meeting back up with her and trying to help her, like, hey, just, hide here, and I'll be back, and uh, stay here, don't get seen, which has got to be pretty jarring for your wedding. That's not the way most people spend their wedding night.
Yeah, definitely. And for people that are wondering, like, why do they, really need to kill Grace? Well, apparently, if you draw the hide and seek card, every once in a while, they have to make a sacrifice to keep their legacy going. They basically sold their soul um, for money, for
Yeah, for
success,
wealth.
for wealth, for success, for their gaming legacy to go on, and if they don't do specific things, especially before a specific time, everything will end. Everything will
Yeah.
just blow up in their face.
Hmm. And
Foreshadowing.
they're scared about it. They don't know for sure, but they believe the rules. They're not willing to mess around, this family. It's funny, not to give too much away because I know it's so new, but they expand a lot on that legacy of LaBelle in the sequel. So you learn that, of course, it's not just this board game family that is part of this deal with the devil, so to speak. But there's a lot of other families that have also made the same deal, and that's how it brings it all back around. But yeah, it's a very cool concept. Innocent game, uh, maybe something a bit more behind the scenes of how these titans of industry have pulled their money together. It honestly reminds me of the if you look at like the early Monopoly games and everything, you have that whole climb to family fortune. But a lot, Milton Bradley, a lot of those board game companies, they've been around a really long time, and I'm a personal holder of a early 1900s Ouija board. I love old games. There's so much amazing nostalgia that goes along with it, and to think that perhaps there might be a little bit more to it. It's kind of fun.
Do you ever play the Ouija board and try to summon anything?
The Ouija board has definitely come out a time or two. We have a local coffee shop, beer pub, and they do a board and board deal on certain nights of the week where if you bring in a board game, you get a deal on a charcuterie board. And I thought it would be a clever idea to bring the vintage Ouija board to said coffee shop, and it was not looked upon fondly, I'll just say.
It's
I
like,
could still have the discount, but please don't play your game.
please, please, you won't just summon a spirit. You might summon a demon. They're
Yeah,
worse.
we don't want
They're
we
worse.
don't want a demon in the coffee shop.
But yeah, so Grace is like, you know, running for her
Running
life.
for her life.
Running
Yeah.
around this mansion. Is a really big mansion, and like you said before, everybody is getting their own, like vintage weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There's crossbows, there's old, blunderbusses, there's old like
Spoon.
rifles, there's like swords, and there's axes, and there's
You've been waiting to say blunderbuss
I
again.
love blunderbusses.
It's your moment.
Yes,
Seize
it's my
it.
moment. um, yeah, so we get like really cool like scenes in here, really interesting kills. Um, in here though, I think one of the scenes in here that I don't know, I kind of went like when I was in the theater watching it was when Grace, she runs in the goat shed and she gets shot in her hand, and then she tries to get out of the pit that she's in,
Hmm.
and her other hand ends up on a nail, and
Yeah.
everybody in the theater was like, "Oh!" and just
Yeah.
sat like, "Oh, they didn't need to do that to her. They did not need to
It's
do
got
that."
that it's got that Home Alone stepping on the nail feel. It's pardon the pun, but I know you love them. It really drives it home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But more than just like
not
stepping on a nail, she used the nail through the hand as leverage to pull herself up. But the pain
yeah,
that must have caused her, because she's already been
hmm
shot in the hand, and
yeah.
now
She's
she
in it to
has
win it,
yes, and now she has
literally.
like another like a freaking nail that's like sticking
Mhm.
out like right up through here. And I'm just going
Yeah.
like, ooh, like out of all the things that happen in there, like people get shot in the head, some pretty brutal stuff happens in this film. For some reason, that scene, I don't know why, it was just like, ugh, like I could feel
Yeah.
it. I could feel it. I'm like doing this in my hand, like I could feel that going through because it's a slow, agonizing sloth to the top.
Yeah.
And after she discovers, oh, here are the remains of everyone that they've killed. It's like, okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, the goat pit for sure. And she's, at this we talked about the help, right? The poor maids, but she's also got this ridiculous enemy as she's trying to escape from this family. She's got Stevens, who is the biggest, well, I think he's a jerk, as does the audience watching this, but this guy, he's 100% committed to this family for sure. He's got her on security cameras. He's doing everything humanly possible to make sure that Grace is not escaping. So she's got the family after her. She's got now maids are gone for the most part at this point.
Yeah.
We run through those pretty quick. But
They
now
could have
she's
to
got
hire
this
new maids.
butler. And this guy, I mean, if it wasn't for Stevens, I think that she probably would have had a much better chance of escaping earlier on. Uh, as you mentioned, she has to deal with, utilizing her own appendages to be able to pull herself out of a pit of, dead relatives. Um, and she starts to make a run for it. She has a pretty good opportunity to jump the fence and get out of this compound. And I think that's when isn't that when she gets shot again?
Yeah.
Yeah, by our favorite, by the aunt.
Yeah, she goes through a lot of injuries to the point where you're going, she's not a small woman, but she's not like,
Petite.
yeah, well, she's not petite, but she's not like, muscular and can probably take a bunch of injuries and everything. Like she's very svelte, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
you would think that would like completely take her out completely, and it doesn't. So she has a very
Yeah,
strong will. To the point where we're going like, is she a psychopath? I don't know, but she seems to be going throughout this and we keep pushing through just survival mode, like on max.
strong. I mean, let's hear it for the foster kids out there who, have had to grow up a heck of a lot harder than a lot of people. And she's 100% stronger than the rest. She's built to last. Yeah, I think, one of the most frustrating parts of the movie, you talked about one of the um, worst parts to watch. One of the most frustrating parts is she finally looks like she's going to make her great escape. She nabs one of the cars and she is barreling down the road trying to get away, and she has an accident, and a gnarly accident, and she attempts to call your, what are they, OnStar or whatever,
Yeah.
tries to call OnStar, and please help me, please, I'm being chased by these, fanatical people, they're trying to kill me. And they say, well, this car has been reported stolen for the Lidemas family, and they lock her in the car. And she's now complete prey for the butler to come and grab her up and pull her back into the house. Almost got away. Just one of the most frustrating scenes in the world. But I thought very well done, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely. And another character in here that was really interesting. is Daniel, played by Adam Brody.
You don't say.
Such an interesting turn as well, because you don't. He seems to be sort of this kind of like, at the beginning you think of like he's this rowdy kind of like
Frat
relative
boy.
frat boy.
Hmm.
He's a bit of a dick. He's putting Alex in a submission hold at the beginning. Just doing frat boy stuff and everything. We
Yeah.
find out that like that was them as kids when in the first scene, and
Hmm.
Daniel knows about this whole tradition and everything. He's part of the family,
Yeah.
but the turn that
He
actually
doesn't
happens
like.
here is actually really interesting, and you're watching it going, oh, so he doesn't really want her to be one of the victims.
Yeah. You can tell that he doesn't like this. There's nothing about this that he wants to really be a part of, but he has to. It's the family tradition. And you get that reflection back, as you mentioned, to, oh, well, they were the kids that were hiding. And they had to watch, this horrific thing happen. So it's he's got history with this, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to be any part of it, and he's kind of given her some help along the way, trying to he's playing it pretty cool. He's not outright trying to help her for most of the movie, but he becomes a bit of a confidant or assistant throughout.
Oh yeah, especially like close to the third act, where he incapacitates the the family with like non-lethal hydrochloric acid, basically.
Yeah, just
Just that in the ritual cup, because they're trying to sacrifice her. They're trying to do it the right way.
Mhm. Right.
And unfortunately, he gets shot by Charity in the neck, and bleeds to death. And but
Yeah.
he like has this interesting like turnaround from like a character you thought that like he was going to be in on it the whole way. In fact, I think
Hmm.
he was the one that was in the cabinet, right? The
Yeah.
boudoir,
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah. So he was always kind of afraid, and that the person that came to them was actually, his name was Charles. He was Anne Helene's husband at the time,
Hmm.
and he drew the hide and
Yeah.
seek card. So you know, kind of like Anne Helene's is sort of like um, she was
Bitter.
always, yeah, no, she was always like I said, daggers for eyes and everything, but like she had to make
Hmm.
that sacrifice herself to sacrifice her own
Hmm.
husband. And yeah, that was like what, 30 years prior. and
Yeah.
and
So now you know why she's that way.
yeah, and for Daniel was, he was hiding, and Alex was trying to protect him and everything. um and now I guess Daniel got fed up with how this family works, and he ended up
Mm.
dying for it. I'm glad that it wasn't Grace who killed him. I'm glad, because it was like, yeah, his character like had a good turnaround, and it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't Grace like, oh, I accidentally shot you because I thought you were a bad guy.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. He seems far too cool in the beginning, and he starts to appeal more and more as the movie goes on, for sure. And it we have this final stand here where everybody starts getting their just desserts. So it is nice that he doesn't have to necessarily go through the final explosion, if you will.
Oh yeah, definitely. um I do like how the movie is coming up to a climax, and after Daniel is killed, Grace is able to get away, because they're about to sacrifice her. The mansion is set ablaze, and uh, Grace is then attacked by Becky, played by Andy McDowell, the great Andy
Hmm.
McDowell.
Love Andy McDowell.
I like her and her daughter, but like her daughter's actually a really good actress too. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, she played what was it in The Substance?
hmm
So that was a good
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
hmm
she looks like her. If she when she smiles, she looks exactly like her mom, like a young version of
Yeah.
Andy
They
McDowell.
great smiles.
Yes. So yeah, Grace basically beats her to death with the LaBelle's box. it's like
Mm,
it's like oh well, poor she just killed her mother-in-law.
right. Right. But deserved for sure. And then at that point, we lose all help from the fiance. He's no longer Grace's man of honor standing behind her side in sickness and in health. He's now 100% against her. He knows that she's got to go. Mom mom died. We've got to take care of her for sure.
Yeah, that was also an interesting turn. Like when we have like Daniel, sacrificing himself for Grace, and then we have Alex, who they tied up because he was helping Grace out, um,
hmm
and they didn't want him in the way, and then he witnesses Grace killing his mother, and then he has this like 180 turn, and basically it's like
Right.
okay, well, um, you're never gonna trust me again, so we're gonna have to go through the ritual because I don't want to die. Uh,
Right.
the funny thing is this family's never seen the actual curse happen. They just been
Right.
told. They've been told
Yeah.
that if you don't
They
do
took out
certain things,
Halen's fiance.
yeah, if you don't do this because of this, bad things will happen, and your whole
Right.
empire will crumble. And they never seen it happen, so they're just trusting the word of their great grandfather, that has been passed down from generation to generation. I mean, this is all
Mm.
generational wealth, and they're just trusting that if we don't do this, we're going to lose everything.
Before dawn.
Yes, before dawn. And so, well, it comes almost time. They're trying to complete the ritual, just before the sun rises, and
Yeah.
um, well,
This is another great moment.
yeah. So basically, they're too late. Okay, and
Mhm.
in this sense, like Grace won the game. She
Right.
survived. Um, she survived. What was that before dawn?
Hmm.
And
And then
yeah, go on.
they're like, "What? What now?" And the family just sits there and they're like, "Okay." There's this moment where you're thinking, "Okay, well, I guess, maybe none of this had to happen." All the poor Helene and her fiance who they killed years ago, all these people in the goat pit oh my gosh, maybe none of this had to happen.
Yeah,
And
and
then
and then Helene attacks Grace, and
mm,
kablooey, she
yeah.
she blows up. There's just chunks
Mhm.
and blood
Yeah.
everywhere.
Amazing. Amazing.
That must have
Just
been so much fun for the props like department. It's just like, how much blood do you
right.
want? And somebody just said yes, yes,
The
just like
splatter.
all
The
of it,
splatter effect.
all of it. And yeah, one by one, family members just go kablooey.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like how what
Yeah,
was it what was it, the sister-in-law or something like that, and her kids like just like run down, they're like no, and she's still going down the hall, kaboom.
mm.
You just see this blood just
And you
goes like
fly. That continues into the sequel too. If you loved that part, you'll enjoy that further. Honestly too, it's this character that Samara always seems to wind up playing that is, a little bit I don't even know, fun, not necessarily the girl that's going to be easily scared or swayed in any sort of way. She starts really enjoying this because she survived. She did the damn thing, and now is she won the game.
Yeah.
She gets to kind of revel in it, and it's the reason why I picked the background that I have, because she just actually really starts enjoying as these people are exploding in front of her, and it's quite nice to see.
Yeah, it's really fun like scene where she just like hold on a second, where she's enjoying watching all these people that try to kill her end up blowing up, and
Yeah.
then Alex comes along and goes like, basically please forgive me, and hold on a second, my throat's getting dry.
Mm.
I'll edit this part out. Anyway, she
Cool.
says, "Please forgive me," basically, and take me back. Um, I love you. You've made me a better person. Trying to give this whole little speech to
Yeah.
her,
Sure, sure, sure.
and she basically takes off her ring and says, "I want a divorce." As she throws the ring at him, he blows up. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
basically going like, he probably would have survived if she had, probably,
Maybe. Is there
maybe.
some true love's kiss that could have happened?
I think it broke the contract when she took the ring off and said, "I want a divorce." So basically, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, well,
Done.
now you're done.
Yeah.
Because he was like one of the last ones to explode. So everyone
Mm-hmm.
else was blowing up. His father blew up. His mother didn't have to blow up because she was already dead. she was just
Right.
lying there on the floor.
Beaten in the head by the phantasm box.
Yeah, and afterwards, like it explodes right in her face. Like Alex just like all this blood and body parts. It just covers her whole face. It like goes into her mouth and everything. You're like,
Mm,
oh, okay,
not great.
that's lovely. But
But she
she's
doesn't care.
yeah, she was not phased very much, and then wipes away from her face, and then she looks over at the end of the table near the fireplace, and just appearing for like a moment, LaBelle's
Yeah.
like demonic image shows up and gives her a nod, and then fades away, basically
Hmm.
saying like, "You won the game."
Well
Yeah,
done.
well
Well
done,
done.
well done. Uh,
And that, we've got my, favorite ending, I would say, in the last few years of any of these, try and survive till the end movies, which is this beautiful mansion has caught fire in this last moment when the family's exploding and candles have gotten knocked over, and Grace goes, she's been trying to kind of, be the eloquent woman marrying into this very rich family, and has tried to, kind of look on the up and up and hide the fact that, she's a smoker and some of these things. She goes and grabs a cigarette and lights it from this fire that's setting ablaze, and proceeds to sit out in front as the mansion burns down behind her. And she's a bloody mess, literally and figuratively. And just chaos ensues around her, but she knows chaos is actually over. She's survived the night. it's
yeah,
it's the perfect coup de grace, as they say. So
yeah, and you could hear like sirens in the background, and the
mm-hmm.
lights are coming up on her and everything, and she's just sitting
Like
there.
checking in on her.
Yes, and I love like the scene before that as she's walking throughout the mansion, heading toward the entrance or the exit, basically, and you're showing the walls of like the games that built the family, and everything. Like all these original games, they're getting burned down. Like the great grandfather's portrait is burning up, and um, then you have LaBelle's like face getting like burned up along with everything else, and then you of course then she sits on the front steps of the mansion and smokes,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really it's a really kind of like poetic end to the film,
Yeah.
which we find out later that is the start of the second one.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
does
She
not
gets
get any
no
rest.
rest.
She gets no
No
rest.
rest.
Like right there in the
No.
ambulance, it's like you're back basically, and
Yeah.
it's like, but I've aged 7 years. But it's like,
And actually, too, now that we talk it all through and I really think about it, there's there's some things that need some explaining in the sequel, mainly some of those injuries. But the magic of Hollywood, right? The
Yeah,
magic of Hollywood.
she'd been shot in one hand and a nail in the other. Your hands wouldn't be able to close very easily because their nerves would be injured to a point where, yeah, there's so many injuries that happen to this poor woman throughout the
Hmm.
movie, and it's like, ah, either she is running on like pure adrenaline, or she's
Which you
Wolverine,
would be.
or she's Wolverine and
You
she
would,
healed up right away.
yeah, you would certainly be running on pure adrenaline. I mean, it really is one of those questions that you would ask yourself. Certainly, well, I would think that you wouldn't encounter a Satanist worshiping board game empire. But if you were ever in a situation where you were truly, truly trying to fight for survival, how much could you really endure in a night's time period? Because that's, this entire movie really is just it's her honeymoon night. It's the night after her wedding. It takes place from basically dusk till dawn. And it's a lot to endure, but I honestly think if you were truly in that situation, you would probably be able to run through quite a bit before, just having that smoke. A sequel's a different story, though.
Yeah, personally, if I found myself in that situation, I wouldn't run. I would fight. But that's me.
You would fight.
Well,
Yeah.
I know how to use most of those weapons. So,
Well, yeah, I figure you probably would have a better time working the blunderbuss than this family for sure, just for starters. But
or even just
the
even the melee weapons I know how to use. So like it would just be like like babes in toyland type of situation for me. I would be just going throughout going like
like
I can go through this and I know how to use this and you're dead because
pulling
you barely
pulling. Go ahead.
you barely know how to use some of those people barely know even how to use those weapons. Even in the sequel, there's some characters in there going looking around,
Mhm.
going, "What? This is all I
Yeah.
have to use, basically."
Mhm. Yeah, the sequel they have the family has to basically it's different families and they have to select a weapon that's based on when their family originally joined LaBelle's world or what have you. Um, so that kind of didn't fully tick in tie to the original, but because in this they were sort of drawn the lot. But it's one of my favorite moments in this particular movie when I already mentioned it, but when you've got one of the in-laws of the family in like a bathroom or something trying to figure out how to work his weapon by going onto YouTube. It's just perfect. It adds a little bit of trueness to a very fantastical movie because that would be me, Mr. Chess over here, who knows how to work all of these unique weapons. I would be like, give me a hammer or a knife. Give me something that I know how to use. I'm not going to be able to load a crossbow or wield a medieval axe for sure.
Or those old rifle, those basically old rifles that shoot, the balls, the little the little
Right,
balls because
muskets.
those so basically you have to like load it in and pull the powder in and stuff it in and then
Hmm.
pull it out and then light it and then you can fire. You see
Yeah,
some of those
right.
rifles
Which
on
really slows
yeah, you
me
see
down.
some of those rifles on the wall.
Yeah, Grace in this movie too. She grabs and you with your weapon knowledge probably know the real name to it, but all I know it as is just sort of um, the ammunition belt or whatever that you wear across your shoulder, and she looks.
Bandolier.
I'm sure she looks pretty badass in
She
most of this
does.
movie.
Yeah, especially on the
He,
poster, like the poster and also the Blu-ray cover looks
mhm.
really badass. Um,
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't get a Criterion Collection because I would love to see her animated. They always animate the
Oh
covers.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
For sure.
and I'm surprised they didn't get one considering that they don't, make the Blu-ray anymore. It's really hard to find. You have to buy it used, or if you buy it new, it's really expensive. So,
I'm on the hunt for you. Little farewell present for you.
but no, I really enjoyed this film. This is one of those like survival films that I was not expecting to be, enjoy as much as I did. And
Hmm.
like I said, I loved Samara Weaving in The Babysitter, so I was looking forward to seeing what else she could bring to the table as a quote unquote scream queen. And this is like early on before she was like now she's a full fledged scream queen, and especially after like Babysitter 2, or we get also Jenna
Yeah.
Ortega, a young Jenna
Hmm.
Ortega.
Right. Right. Yeah, she's fantastic. I really liked her in this movie. She's a survivor through and through, but she's got that fun personality. She's the girl next door. She's
Almost.
fun. She's got a little bit of an edge to her. Yeah, yeah. But you instantly root for her in this movie from beginning to end. I have there's plenty of movies out there where the final girl, if you will, or some of the girls even along the way, you have a hard time rooting for because they just don't seem realistic enough, or maybe they're too stupid, frankly. Some of the portrayals, she's smart, she's witty, she's strong. I love this character. I think it's fantastic. And again, the fact that she takes some enjoyment in the win at the end, the well-deserved win when she's defeated this crazy family. I love that too. She finally gets to revel in it a little bit. So,
Oh
a
yeah,
great movie.
it really is. And you know, characters like her sometimes they'll play those characters off like as a bitch at the beginning, very bitchy, very
Hmm.
like full of themselves, and then their character changes throughout the movie. In here, we just find out that she's just a strong person that and she had a rough childhood, and she
Yeah.
wants to have the stability of a family. That's all she really
Hmm.
wants, and she doesn't want. She's not really in it for the money. Yes, Alex was born into generational wealth. He's probably one of the richest family on that part of the country. But she loves Alex and she wants to be part of a family, and this all these family members are still alive and everything, and she wants to fit in. She wants people to like her. So
Hmm.
she's not trying to be anything big or special. She's just trying to be you know good enough. So
Hmm.
she's not trying to
Yeah.
outdo anything. And in here, and then when it comes to the point where she has to survive, that's when her survival instincts come out, and we see that she's a lot stronger than everybody expects her to be, like insanely
Yeah.
stronger.
It's with that warrior scream, which is so good. And I remember we talked a little bit about this before, but I remember when this movie trailer first came out, it gave a lot away, but I think the comedic elements in the movie really none of that that I could recall at the time. I knew it was going to be a more of a horror comedy, but those pieces of the movie made this pace just so well for me. It it's such a fun watch. It's heart pounding. It's excruciating, as you mentioned, with the hand piece, but it's fun the whole way through too, from start to finish. It's got these little moments that you're kind of laughing throughout, even though it's a absolutely bizarre movie, which is different because I believe these are the directors that were involved in like the VHS franchise, which are not funny movies by any means. So I bet they had a lot of fun with this particular flick.
Oh yeah, definitely. Was it Matt Bettinelli, Olpen, and Tyler Gillette?
Hmm.
And it was also written by Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murphy. This film only cost like a budget of $6 million.
Hmm.
Sounds like uh, like an A10 film or something like that. You're looking at it like going to like, oh, okay, so they weren't given a huge budget for this. I think
Hmm.
it's distributed by Fox Searchlight Pictures, so they were probably just experimenting, probably, and said, here's some money. Let's see what you can do with this. And I think for $6 million, they made $57.6 million. So
Yeah,
that's profit. Even
shabby.
it's not a lot of money. It's not
Yeah.
over $100 million, but that's still profit. And I guess they trusted it enough to make a sequel because it became sort of a
Hmm.
cult hit, cult classic. And
Yeah.
it's not that old. Cult classics usually take maybe a decade or more to become cult classics.
Hmm.
And this, I think, also because it's hard to find the Blu-ray or DVD of this film, it's become sort of this like word of mouth film. Like currently, you can watch this on Hulu, Disney Plus,
Hmm.
and but to find it physically, I think it's been sort of a search for a lot of people that I've been told you need to see this, horror film because it's fun, it's witty, but it also has, it has Samara Weaving as this, the scream queen that is trying to survive, a murderous family, and
Hmm.
it's just built its legend, I guess. Built up a legend of the film, and 7 years later, we have a sequel that's currently out in theaters. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, with was it what's her name? Catherine.
Catherine Newton.
Yeah, Catherine Newton.
Hmm.
I was going to say
And Sarah
Catherine.
Michelle Gellar, Buffy.
Yes. Which yeah, I don't know if you
I
heard,
wonder.
but Buffy was actually canceled. That's unfortunate. The revival.
Aw. Aw. I wonder when this movie, if I can remember correctly, I want to say it came out in fall of 2019.
August.
So
August
is was
21st.
it August? Okay, so late summer of 2019. I told my sob story previously about, wanting to go and see this with a big group of people and being denied, but I remember it I think people that really love these types of movies went out and saw it, but by and large, I think that it didn't release well when it first came out. So summer get a lot of blockbusters. Who knows what it was? Well, you probably know what it was up against, but um, it definitely did pretty well considering the budget. And I feel like, to your point, as it was released in streaming, this one, unlike some of the recent movies that we've reviewed, by the time it was ready for streaming, it had a lot of captive audiences too. So that word of mouth kind of continued to build as people were stuck at home and had a lot of extra time on their hands that they weren't expecting. So, yeah, just a really great movie. I think overall it had pretty good reviews. I want to say it was, in the mid 80s as far as Rotten Tomatoes score. Yeah. Actually 89 with critics
Yeah,
and
89.
79 with audience. Yeah.
So really
So
good, really good because you
Mhm.
normally don't get for movies like this. This is not based on a franchise of anything.
Right.
This is not a sequel or any sense. Well, not like now, but there's a sequel. But
Now it is.
yeah, it was not exactly an original idea, but it was something that people could latch onto and say, "I've seen something like this, but this is like really clever for this day and age to have a film like this out."
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So we got through discussing the film, Ready or Not. I want to hear your rating for the film.
I love this movie. I think now this is how many horror comedies have we covered at this point? It's um it's one of my favorite subgenres, and I loved it the first time I saw it. I actually went and saw it on my phone. Again, you all know who you are that were supposed to go with me and ditched me. But
Oh,
I have watched damn coworkers coming for you, Charlotte. I've watched this so many times since then. I think I shared with you that I watched this actually with my grandmother who's 90. I love you, Jojo. Uh, she actually sat through, she hates horror movies, and she sat through this movie and watched it. She said, okay, that was very different from anything I've seen. It's because it's not a slasher. It's not, complete drama all the way through. It's got this really fun edge to it. So these are my favorite types of movies, I think. At least favorite type of subgenre within horror, because they're so rewatchable. This movie moves pretty fast. I feel personally like the more I watch it, I'm definitely picking up more as I watch it, but kind of like Happy Death Day, the more I watch it, it doesn't pace as well. Maybe it's because I know it so well at this point, but it's not. It certainly will be rewatched more and more throughout the years, but it's not one that I watch every single year. I don't know. The characters are really great. There's a lot of additional little elements that they build throughout to give depth. You mentioned the brother, how he developed throughout the movie, and you really start to see him as more of this, human side who is done with, this awful thing that this family's doing. Other characters are just absolutely useless without money, and it becomes very obvious that that's who they are, and they're going to do anything humanly possible to win this night because they're just kind of terrible people that have to be rich because they can't survive otherwise. So I don't know. It's a fun movie. I I think it's, I don't know, this is where my parenting becomes questionable, but I think it's appropriate for tweens plus to watch. It's just it's a fun ride all the way through. It's got some pretty great effects. It's got some great casting. It feels pretty real all the way through, even though it's, kind of a silly take. This movie, I would say, I'm not going to do any more quarters, and I'm not going to start breaking things into additional fractions. I'll give this movie an 8. I know it's a really high rating, but I really love this. I wouldn't actually give the sequel as high of a rating, but this movie is fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, sequels are really hard to um, make almost better than the original, than the first films. It's rare on occasion when a sequel will surpass, the original, because they're trying to build upon, what they did before, and the sequel is basically just a continuation of the first film, and the lore that they built up on LaBelle's, character.
Mhm.
Which of course you said that they, explain a little more about LaBelle and also his involvement in sort of like almost like the world order of, like families. And
Mhm.
there's like
Yeah.
multiple families throughout, that are now having to be involved because the game was, not won by the people that should have won, but by the survivor, which apparently has never been
Yeah.
done before.
There's an open spot.
There's an open spot, and they have to, there's, I don't know the whole movie. I just know about the premise of it. So, um,
Mhm.
but in here, I really enjoyed, like I said, Samara Weaving's acting was incredible. She's a good actress. She's really good at showing emotion on her face, especially when she's either
Mhm.
scared, or she is like psychotically, smiling in the background, like behind you,
Mhm.
just enjoying and reveling in the like realizing that she took down this family that was trying to kill her.
Mhm.
Um,
Earned.
yes, she comes from really good stock. I mean, Hugo Weaving, what was it? Is her uncle? I think it was. Um, so if you know like the Samara Weaving, Hugo Weaving, yeah. So like, are they related? Yes, they are related.
Mhm.
Uh, so she no, I thought she did an incredible job in here. This film is rewatchable in my opinion. If you do get a chance to either to get it physically or watch it on Hulu currently, If you haven't seen it, definitely go and see this film because,
Mhm.
and also then watch the sequel right afterwards. Don't watch the sequel and then watch this film because it will make no
Yeah,
sense
don't.
really because they literally start from like the ambulance to the hospital right from the end of this film.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, a lot of critics and the also the you know viewers that are on Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it pretty much what I would give it. I would literally just give this an 8 out of 10 because this is
Mhm.
it's not a perfect film. You said there's some slight pacing issues in here, but I thought it moved along enough where you would look at your watch going, oh, it's done.
Mhm.
It's a 95-minute film, so it's not. It doesn't go. There's some films that are like 98 minutes or something like that. This is 95 minutes, but in my opinion, because the way it moves and the way she's being chased through most of the movie, you just have that
Mhm.
first act just like setting up the wedding, then through the ritual, and then all of a sudden, poof, there you go. The rest of the movie is her running for her
Mhm.
life. Uh, I liked. There were a lot of practical effects in here. The very end, of course, they have to use some CGI, but the blood splatter definitely was not CGI. I can just see that
Mhm.
like them in the studio going, okay, we're gonna explode, bunch of stuff in your face. It's gonna like go
Ready?
all over your body, all over the room.
Ready or not?
Yes, ready or not. And then go boom, boom, boom. Because every time somebody explodes, she somehow gets like covered, like, from head to toe. Especially with Alex. That one right in her face, and yeah, that must have been a fun day. To like, okay, close your
Yeah.
eyes, so it doesn't get in your eyes. Just kaboom,
Mm.
and yeah, that was fun. But I like practical effects. Practical effects for me, especially in horror films, um, are the best because they haven't perfected it yet in CGI. CGI blood
Mhm.
is horrible. I think I've told you this in the past, and they shot the thing. It was supposed to be a prequel to the original thing. Um, they shot that originally with uh, all practical effects, and then the studio came in and said, "We want you to replace all that with digital effects," and it looked horrible, horrible. But they did it originally with practical effects, and apparently it looked pretty cool.
Is there a place you can see that? That
I,
would be
I,
really
I I
cool to
don't
watch.
I don't think there's really a place. I think it's just been covered up.
Ugh,
I think it's probably
lost to history.
well, somebody might have the original cut or something like that. I think they did that with Wolfman with Benicio del Toro as well. They did a lot of that with practical effects until they replaced a lot of that with CGI. There's something you lose when you do. It's an extreme art form to do practical effects. I like watching behind the scenes of like The Walking Dead, and watching them doing the zombies and the explosions and the even people getting killed by other people, and watching them use actual models of people, um, and
It's fun.
it's
It's
fun.
fun
Yeah.
to learn how how did Tom Savini, spear Kevin Bacon? I want to know. It's fun to understand. We talked about it from the first record that we did with some of the fun practical effects that were done with claymation and all sorts of things with killer clowns. It's just really cool to know what went into something like that rather than just we created it on a computer and there you go.
Yes.
The effort that goes into it to make it look realistic, body part doubles and what kind of substance did you use to make the blood look tacky enough. It is an art form. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, when you could get like freaked out by somebody's skin falling off their face, or
Mhm.
they're losing their teeth like in The Fly, or they're pulling their fingernails out of those type of effects. They sound like simple, but
Mhm.
in today's world they would just use AI or CGI. But back it doesn't hold a candle in my opinion to like practical effects because it just when you can see it especially when you're acting
Hmm.
against it. It gives you a thing to actually look at, not just like a tennis ball.
Right.
You're not looking at a tennis ball, you're
Exactly.
looking at an actual thing. Or you're
Hmm.
reacting to something that looks gross because your gut got blown up or something like that. So
Hmm.
I always enjoy when I could see really good practical effects, and um, in here there's a bunch of fun kills in here, and all in all I think that the script is pretty tight, and I give this an 8 out of 10, a must see, and definitely go see the sequel. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it, but that's a recommendation from you.
Yeah. It definitely holds up. It's nice. There's a couple of things that it's hard to love original so much and not sit and especially when you're doing something like this, like what we do, to not sit and go, "Oh, it would have been really cool if they would have," and I'm not going to go into all of that, but I feel like there's a lot of different ways they could have taken it. That's my non-movie making brain saying that, and perhaps none of those alternates would have worked out, but I think that the path that they chose, it really did work. It gave it a strong enough storyline to continue it on without making it feel trite, which is that's the curse of the sequel, is or maybe maybe the true curse of the sequel is having absolutely nothing to do with the original, as we have seen before. But um, I don't know. I feel like more often than not, people just try to slap something together to get some of that revenue play off of the first, and it feels like it. This was really good, and it was nice to have the original main character back. It was nice to they gave us a lot of the nostalgia with the yellow chucks come back. The dress makes a secondary appearance, and then to get some. I think they knew the audience for this movie are going to be people that truly love the original, and who truly loves the original, people that loved the genre, so they gave us a couple of other fantastic genre performers. So they did a really good job. Totally recommend it.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, so that is our review of Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving. Uh,
We matched
we match, yes.
8 for 8. Doesn't happen all the time.
Doesn't happen all the time. All right, so thank you, Elsie, for joining me tonight on our review.
Pleasure.
And thank you for watching, everyone. Please go to my socials at Good Nerd Corner, as well as LC's. She finally has some socials, and they are.
LC, LC, LDCD. Here, ready? Okay. Does it show up? There. At the bottom of my screen. Follow that. You got to really be a true fan to figure it out. That's part of the charm.
Exactly, exactly. All right, well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And be sure to hide and seek every once in a while. And remember to enjoy your chimichanga.